Awful. Just appreciated the fact that had some guys play their tails off. I mean, like really play their tails off. But the game of football will always be about complementary football, and that's offense, defense working together, and obviously special teams. And when that happens, you win games, and we're not doing that right now. The best defense is sustain drives, first downs, and obviously score points, and that didn't happen today. Defense gave up a couple drives, but they're on the field far too long. I was very appreciative of the fact that they were swinging as hard as they possibly could in that second half. Even sudden changes, they were out there sacking the quarterback, stopping the run. And I know we gave up a few points, but they were on the field far too long.
What do you say to Trevor after 4 interceptions and no points?
Yeah, it's tough. I grabbed him a little bit. I'm going to grab him again here in a minute. It's tough. It's growing pains, and, you know, to say that's all on Trevor, of course not. You know, when you run the ball 8 times for 8 yards or something like that, that's losing sucks. That's all I can tell you, and it eats away at your soul, and you got to regroup. You know, I keep bragging about the locker room because there is a great locker room in there. Guys fighting, the guys who want to win. There's no pointing fingers. I've seen that before, not very often in my lifetime, but I've seen it. There's none of that. But we just have to play better and go beat Houston next week.
How much regression do you see?
What's that?
How much is just the offense regressing? Not even forward, but also.
Yeah, that's what was so disappointing. I went back and getting ready for this game. I mean, you look at the trajectory of that offense. You know, Phoenix Cardinal or Arizona Cardinals. You got the Titans. You know, the Miami. You saw some really, really positive things. You know, we started off slow with some interceptions. I'm talking about the beginning of the season, and I actually spent a lot of time with our defense because I thought, you know, that's where we're going to transition from a little bit more man to zone, because I was very pleased with the offense, the way it was moving forward. And then after the bye week, it's been a weekly struggle. And, you know, what is the issue? If it was one issue, you'd fix the one issue. I think it starts with the inability to consistently run the ball and be a run, play, action offense. And when you know, the last week against where we played last week,
Rams.
Yeah, Rams. We're not getting the movement. We're not running the ball very effectively. And then today was, you know, just couldn't run the ball.
On the Tannehill touchdown run in the third quarter, it looked like you were trying to maybe get a timeout. Can you take us through sort of like? Yeah,
we misaligned on defense, and right at the last second, and you can't get timeout like that.
There have been reports in the last 24 hours about dysfunction on the team, you having an incident with Marvin Jones, you having some acrimony with the assistant coaches, saying in one instance that they were losers, you know, because their resume didn't have any, I guess, championship or winning seasons, whatever. Can you at least address that and whether it's accurate?
Yeah, calling someone a loser, that's inaccurate. I have high expectations for our coaches. I very demanding of our coaches, and expect guys to be held accountable for their positions. And at times when they're not, those are we address it. But I assure you, there is not whatever report. Amy told me something about that. That's nonsense. And then the other, Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones had a conversation because he came to me and said that there was something in the media. And I said, what's that? And because I didn't read it. And he said that people are blaming the receivers for all the issues on offense. And I went back and I looked at it, and it was about, I think I said something like we have some injury issues and some lack of consistency. When we talked about that, he's great. We moved on, and, you know, one thing about Marvin, and there's a lot of players, especially these, you know, professional veterans, there's a lot of pride. Some guys aren't used to this, and he's one of them. But he's fantastic, and we have a fantastic relationship, and I started hearing that. And Marvin, he looked at me, and he walked by yesterday when I saw something on TV. I was like, you know, heated argument, and he goes, I guess we're not allowed to talk anymore, are we, or something like that, and started laughing about it. So
there's
nothing.
No yelling.
None.
So he didn't leave practice?
No.
Urban, when you have those kind of reports, you start getting concerned a little bit about the locker room leaks coming out. I mean, it's obviously somebody's sharing that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. Once again, most of this is fairly new to me. Am I worried about losing the locker room? I always am worried about losing the locker room when you're 2 and whatever we are. But then I see what I saw, and I see the guys play as hard as they possibly can. I challenge our coaches, I challenge our players, and I challenge myself.
Andrew Noel had 3 holding penalties today. Did you ever consider taking him out of the game and putting Will Richardson or somebody else in for Andrew?
There was some conversation there. Obviously, we didn't make that decision.
Have you talked to Shad Khan? Do you have any sense of this is all going to be okay? We're going to a vote of confidence or anything going forward?
I talk to Shad all the time. He's been fantastic since the day I've been here, and we're going to do the best we can to win games. That's our job.
What about this week, amid all of this, whether right, wrong, indifferent? Have you talked to him like last night or the night before or today?
Yeah, I talked to him last night, talked to him today. Our focus is to finish the season strong and to make whatever adjustments we have to make to get this thing cooking.
Do you still have confidence that you can win at this level?
Yeah, I do. Certainly. Me personally, Yeah. It hasn't exactly materialized the way I expected to have the experience of winning games. I knew that this was somewhat of a build, but I also really believe that we have plenty of good enough players to go win games. I still believe that. That's why I get so disappointed sometimes with our coaching staff and with myself, because I think we can do better than we're doing. Really disappointed.
You've been telling us all year that you have faith in that offensive line. They're getting their ass kicked every week. Like, what's going on there? They're getting paid a lot of money to be better than what they've been.
Yeah.
Do you have a contentious relationship? I mean, you're hard on your assistant coaches, but is there anything?
I'm not hard on it. I'm honest with it. See, when people say that, that's like, I've done this a long time, and I'm very demanding and honest with coaches. If we're struggling, let's get this thing fixed. Why? I'm not a big blame player guy. When something's going wrong and I hear a coach or someone say, well, I told him to do it, that's not the coaching tree I grew up in. What are we doing to put that player in position to have success? So when you say hard, I'm very transparent, very honest with coaches, and have extremely high expectations with staff. And I've done that for as long as I've been a head coach.
But for guys that haven't coached with you before, is that a shock to them, or is take an adjustment for them? Is there any tension with you and some of those guys because they've not dealt with this before?
Yeah, I think sometimes it's whatever coaching trees people are from. Once again, I don't believe in saying that player's not good enough. That's something that in my entire years when I hear that, so that's not the player. Don't put this on the player. Why are we not putting them in position to be successful? That's why I've always approached it. That's the way I grew up in coaching.
You've been around this long enough, you've heard noise before, but how tough is that to navigate when you're 2-11, all these storylines?
Yeah, this week for some reason was a week of storyline, and then like I said, one was like I had an argument with Marvin Jones, and then once again Amy told me, I was like, what argument? And then Marvin and I talked about, the other one was he called something about a coach on our staff is seeping things out. That's a new one to me too. I've not been in that conversation where there's whatever happens in the staff room, if something starts leaking out, that's the first. So those are all things we have to address and find out what's going on.
Take 2 more, guys.
The psyche of everything, I mean, is that a hard thing to navigate for those guys, for you? Do you have to talk about that stuff?
Say that again.
Do you have to navigate all those kind of things outside of just fixing the on the field stuff?
Yeah, there's no. I mean, until this just happened yesterday when I started hearing stuff. So no, I mean, we'll address it on Monday, and the reality is that losing sucks. Losing tears you apart. Losing, especially people with pride and people that work their butts off. And we just got to stick together and keep going.
Is that what you tell Shad? Is that what you told Shad in your meeting, Shad Khan?
What's that?
About that losing sucks and we just got to stick together. And
I think he knows that. Yeah, I assured him that I still believe in my heart we will. How fast? That depends on, once again, I still think there's good pieces. You watched what you watched out there today. Miles Jack and that defense and some of those kids, Roy, Smoot, I mean, those guys were playing their tails off. You get a couple scores on offense, you're right there, and we didn't do it. So what's the answer? Start leaking information or some nonsense? No, that's nonsense. That's garbage. That's that's, once again, I've been very blessed. I've not really dealt with that. I've not dealt with, well, did you hear what he said? What? No, let's improve on offense and get our quarterback in a position to be successful. That's our focus. What someone's brother said or someone said, that will occupy very little of my time. And if there is a source, that source is unemployed. I mean, within seconds, if there's some source that's doing that.
You ever been shut out?
I don't know. I don't want to talk about it.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, guys.